Tim, so you have to speak up to the mic.
I think it's a great idea to have the 5 committees. I think more work would be done on each of the committees and more concentration. I'm also concerned about the functions of the committees, like some roles that need to be written down, and how when people meet on the committees, that they report back to the whole board. So it keeps everything open and everyone knows what everyone's doing and how each of us can take part in the discussion.
Yeah, the next step is that I've told Bill that every meeting there'll be a bullet point for committee reports. If there's no reports, there's nothing. I talked about it today with Bill, and I think we need to set down what the rules of the committees, what they need to be responsible for, so that the individuals who enter the committee will be able to function properly, because we never had any real definitive rules for any of the committees, at least since I've been on board for 4 years. So, yes, we absolutely have to. We want to be able to have what each committee should be doing and what, what their,
Reporting back.
exactly. So, but if you want to have the 5, and then tomorrow, when we do the reorganization meeting, we can then assign whoever wants to be in these committees. So, I guess we need a motion to go from 3 to 5.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I have a question, please. I can't tell if I'm interrupting anyone. It's very, very difficult, and I don't mean to be rude.
Go ahead.
I'm not clear what the roles and responsibilities of each of these committees is. And I'd really like to understand more, especially about what the Personnel Committee does. And it doesn't mean that I could be wrong, that weighting committees is somewhat equal. Because, for example, like the Highways Committee or the Parks or Personnel Committee would have, rather huge responsibilities, whereas the Cemetery Committee might be a little bit more limited. But I could be wrong about that. I'm just not sure what the roles and responsibilities are for each of the committees.
Well, it's fairly, the buildings committee, is responsible, whoever the 2 people on that committee are responsible for the town hall and the garage. And if there's an issue, if there's a problem, they need to be involved in it and then report back to the board. If the cemetery committee has one purpose, and that is to find a new site. And also to make sure that the committee, that the cemeteries are being maintained properly. It means going on a visit, it means going to look at the cemeteries on a periodic basis. Personnel deals with having review of the employees once a year, and also any other issues that come about if there's if the personnel policy needs to be reviewed. They're the ones that start the process and bring it to the board, and any other violations of the personnel policy, they would meet with the individuals. The highways, similar. You're on the highway committee, you should ride the roads on a periodic basis to go make sure that the roads are in good condition, that the signage is up, that the town is doing a good job. And also, if there's an issue with flooding or things like that, or we have to meet with the state, the committee would be out there with Danny to do that. And basically, that's what we would do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these rules, these need to be set down in paper, but this is what the committees have been doing in the past.
And is it your vision that we would have 2 members of the select board on each of these committees?
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be on more than one.
Right. You would have to be, if the arithmetic works. What about, I would think, I was just wondering, and I know that I'm not meaning to be presumptuous here. I realize I'm a member of the public and I'm speaking up a lot on this topic for obvious reasons. I'm just wondering if we need 5 committees, or if to take on the larger issues of the select board, such as personnel, highway, parks, and buildings, and that perhaps the select board itself could handle the cemeteries.
No, it's much better if you have committees, honestly and truly, they work better. Because when you have to go out to take a look at meetings, if you have more than 4 people or 3 people, then you have to have one meeting. And, you don't need to have, every time you have to go look at a site, you have 4 selected there, then you have to have an agenda, you have to warn it, public has to come. The purpose of the committee member is to go out and do the research and then bring it back to the board when we can discuss it. And then decide what we want to do with it as a full board. So committees do work better. And they're good functioning, fine. However, it's a lot of work to go out there and do all these things. And I think we split it up and we have 5 committees rather than the 3, because it's no different. We're doing it anyway. It's just that it's easier to do it, split it up so there's less work. It really is.
Joe, what's the fifth? I have building, cemetery, personnel, and highways.
Parks.
Thank you.
And we have more than one park. It's not only the village park. We have all the other parks in there. To make sure that the trees are not dying, make sure that we grow properly, all this. So, we have to have this discussion, but we have a motion on the floor yet. No. Did you do it again? Did we make a motion for 5 committees versus 3? Right,
No,
somebody
no
want to make a
motion.
That we split, we take 3 and make it 5?
I'll make the motion on the committees from 3 to 5.
And then, so that we have it either, can we add to that, that the agenda will reflect committee reports at each meeting? So we know that.
So
Can I ask that you make that motion, that you have 5 committees and then name them,
Yeah,
please?
okay. So we have,
right, make a motion that we have 5 committees: personnel, building, highway, parks, cemetery. And also, the committees, we will develop job descriptions for the function of the committee and reporting of the committees,
at each meeting,
committee
necessary.
meetings necessary.
Do we have a second for that?
Bill, could you,
Say again, Joe.
Could you please repeat the motion? We could not hear it.
Okay, the motion is that we have, go to 5 committees. One would be highways, personnel, parks, buildings, and cemetery. And then, the board would set, parameters for these committees. And then the agenda should reflect, there will be committee report at each meeting if required or necessary.
Bill, could you repeat the 5 committees?
Repeat the 5 committees. They're on the agenda, if you have the agenda in front of you.
I have it in front of me.
Personnel, buildings, highway, parks, and cemeteries.
Okay, thank you.
And so the motion, if you didn't hear it, and my voice is a little bit louder, I don't know what you guys hear better, is that there be a job description or something setting forth the parameters of each committee, what their responsibilities are, And then on each agenda, every time, committees will be an agenda item, and then any of the committees with reports for that meeting would then report at that point in the select board meeting.
Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
So, all in favor?
Wait a minute,
Oh,
who made, Kathy's motion? Okay, who second? Okay.
Point of order, Mitch.
Any other discussion?
Aren't we
Now,
discussion? Aren't we supposed to have discussion before a vote?
I said, is there any other discussion?
So I just want to be really clear about who is going to define the responsibilities for each of these committees. It seems to me that there is a definition of some of these committees going into the process, but that the new select boards members who populate each committee should have a role in defining what that committee is instead of having it handed to us.
The select board will do that at a subsequent meeting.
Okay, as long as it's the select board who's doing this, I'm fine with it.
Suzanne, the select board makes all the decisions.
Okay, good.
If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay. The one other thing too, as a reminder, please, if you haven't given your request to Bill on what committees you would like to be on, will you please do it before tomorrow night? So that we can have a discussion to see whose request they would want to be on. Okay? The clerk is not on, I don't believe. Just remember that we have to count votes at 7 o'clock at the Brick Meeting House. So to be there at least a little before 7. And Kim will assign who is counting what. All right, the next item is the HSU grant application. Bill, you want to speak to that?
The FEMA has a Homeland Security application for towns. And if you remember months ago, when Dominion had looked at the security of our system, not only do we have software security, but we have hardware issues that make intrusion into our cyber system a little bit easier. And that is, everything's in the basement, it's not secure. Access to the basement is not as secure as it could be. And even then, what's down there isn't locked in a separate cabinet to be secure, to be further secured. So we have been given by Dominion what do you call it? A cost of doing all the cybersecurity for the building, and altogether that's somewhere around costs of somewhere around $14,000. It includes moving all the wires out of the basement, all the connections between all the computers out of the basement, and putting it in a lock cabinet in what is now the Lister's office. That there'll be a steel cabinet affixed to the wall. All the wires will come to that cabinet. Again, it'll be locked, and then that will give, and there's actual, and I don't know how to explain it because I don't know really what it looks like, but the firewall is an actual piece of equipment as well as software. So there's a firewall too, and all of that is about $16,000. I have it all in the paperwork that I have before you, the list in detail. In addition to that, we would be putting cameras on the two ends of the garage building that are going to be able to collect data and record the data and hold the data there. That data, the pictures, would be accessible by phone, remotely on a computer, and in a bunch of other ways. And And that whole system is a little bit less than $2,000. So the total amount of our request for a grant is, well, so it isn't 15,800. So it's like 13,000 for the cybersecurity.
The total grant is 15,684.15. And, so there's no cost to the town here. This is a grant that, the help us to.
I have to say this though, because the Homeland Security grant isn't awarded till next fall. Who knows what the prices of all this is going to be? So don't expect that this, even if it is 100% grant, it probably isn't going to cover it 100%, because there's going to be every one of our entities that gave us a bid said that's based on you signing the contract today. You know, so it might be $1,000 more when we do it, but there's money in, if I'm not mistaken, there's money in Hardy can talk to this, in the capital budget for the work on cybersecurity in any case, or for the town hall. So there'll be money there, but it may not be 100%, even though the grant appears to be 100%.
Well, there is another option, and that is we could take funds from another place and then replace them when they come in. That's what we want to do, so that they would not be an overage.
This is Hardy. There is money in the capital budget for this project originally, so I'm sure that we'll be able to cover it if there's $1,000.
Any other discussion on this?
Would there be any other maintenance fees after this?
No, there's no maintenance happening on the cameras, and there's no maintenance on the cybersecurity system. Once it's done, it's done.
And both of them carry warranties for the equipment for, one is 2 years and one is 5 years.
Yeah. And then something happens to the equipment after that, obviously. But it's not like a long system where you have maintenance,
Yeah.
whatever. No, it shouldn't be getting maintenance in many years.
And any electrician fees?
Any,
Electrician?
all that is included in the bid.
It's an exclusive grant, so the town will not have to spend any money. And it's very sorely needed. I mean, we have a very, well, if you were to see the downstairs, the way that we have, it's really a shame. If there's no other discussion, we need a motion to accept the Homeland Security grant.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
John seconded. Any other discussion?
No, to allow for the application for the Homeland Security and to allow myself and Kim as the two persons named in the grant to sign it.
All right, so we have, in that motion, we have to let, Kim and Bill have to sign the application. So that's the addition to, you got that down now, Bill? All right, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Done. Okay, now, next is public comment. Do you have any public comment?
Do the photo too. Hi, may I make a comment? This is Nancy.
Sure.
Okay. I understand that meeting in public is a great first step. However, the logistics of the electronics leave a lot to be desired because we couldn't hear most of what was being said, and there's an echo as well. I don't know if it's because it's coming out of the computer. I have no idea, but you know, I'm sort of pleading with you that this is not workable as far as the audience goes. Sorry that I'm being kind of rude, but you know, we can't hear.
Nancy, I agree with you. This should be all virtual or all in person, one or the other.
Yes.
Because I'm the same boat as you. There's
Yeah.
an echo, and you're not here. If the chairman is going to do most of the speaking, the only way this will work is if he's up near the microphone.
Right.
Bill is just as plain as can be.
Right.
We have
And
to
really, we
figure
need
out-
to, what we really need to hear is Joe, and then we need to hear the comments that Kathy and Sue are making, and we just can't hear.
The microphone needs to be passed from person to person,
Okay,
just
listen,
like
I
it does at town
apologize.
meeting.
I apologize for this meeting not working well, but we have to figure out how it has to work. Because whether or not we go back to an all person meeting or not, our meetings, after this virus is over, there will always be a Zoom meeting. Because people are gonna wanna listen who can't make it. So we're gonna have to provide an access to people who want to attend the select board meetings but cannot come for various reasons. So we need to find a way to make this workable. And I'm not sure how it is, but we will certainly work on it. And I will do everything I can with Bill's help and with other individuals to make this thing so that it is seamless and we can hear each other. You can't have meetings if you can't hear each other. So we'll give it a whirl.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't mean to complain, but
No, no,
it's
that's fine.
frustrating for everybody to try to understand.
I understand.
Thank you.
Any other comment? Other business? Not? The date of the next meeting is tomorrow, and that is the organizational meeting at the Brick Meeting House, immediately following when the election count is complete. Not sure when that's gonna be, but, that's what we, and it will be on Zoom as well, or Microsoft Teams as well. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you for all coming. I promise, Nancy, if you're still around, we will fix this problem. I promise.
Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.